Hi, and welcome to the Slow Pace Knitting Space. My name is Michelle Matthews, and I'm a knitter and designer from Northern Alberta, Canada. Today is November 5th, 2021, and I have a cold, so I sound a little comically exaggerated in my coldness today, so that's okay. Hopefully that will be different next video. So today for the first FO I want to show was kind of already an FO last video. It's this pumpkin that I made. And this pattern is called Petite Pumpkin by Michelle C. Meadows. And this was finished last week, but I had not been satisfied with the shape. So I tried to modify it, and some of this, there were yarn on the edges that were loose, and so I have fixed that. I did end up snipping them, pulling them tight, and securing them a bit. So it looks more pumpkin-y now than apple-y. So that's kind of nice. You can see the little knot on the bottom from just tying them together tight. And yeah, the next one is a proper FO. This is the other pumpkin I was working on. This one is called Pumpkin Spice by Denton Foreman. So last week I had the orange part knit, I just had the stem, and it was stuffed. So this week I finished the stem, and then I did the shaping. The shaping on the other pumpkin pattern that I was doing involved just pulling your needle through and around the outside and back in just to pull it tight and make that shaping that you can see here. And I showed this last week, but up close in these little pumpkin bits there is a thread there, and that's just pulling it tight into these bumps. And this one is shaped different. It uses ribbing to make faux bump sort of shapes, but after you knit it, the shaping is to secure a stitch on top and sew through the middle and secure the same stitch on the bottom and pull tight. And then to do that 4 times evenly around to pull it into this kind of donut sort of shape. And I like how it looks on the bottom better than how it looks on the top. I think that would have been a better pumpkin top, but I'm not actually sure what did that. I think is I secured from the top first and pull through to the bottom, and so maybe next time I would just go through and secure to the bottom first and pull up to the top. So if I was to do it again, I would give that a shot to see if maybe that would fix the unevenness from top to bottom. Next, I have a completely new FO. This wasn't even a whip last week, and it was for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup. I needed to enter some classes, and I had hardly finished anything all October that I had started in October, so at the very end of the month, I took a look at the prompts, and I was like, okay, what can I do really quickly? You know, something for Christmas would be good, like some sort of ornament for Christmas, because if I knit that now, I'm ahead of the game. I'm getting ready. As opposed to knitting something for Halloween that I'm going to have for one more day, because it was, the 30th. So I took a look through my holiday favorites, and the prompts were something with curves and something that makes you laugh. 2 different prompts. And I was looking through these, and I saw this one ornament, and it does make me laugh every time. So what it is eggs and bacon. So it's so silly. So I submitted the eggs for the curves and the bacon for makes you laugh, and I related them to Halloween costumes because a different thing to get extra points. I wanted you to make it Halloween related, so I did that by relating it to those silly costumes you can get that do look like eggs and bacon. So this first one threw me for a loop at first. This is knit from probably a cheap white acrylic. I got it secondhand. I have no idea what it is. And then the yellow is from Numana Yarns, and this is the Sunshine and Happiness colorway that she dyed up for me in June. And this pattern, though, threw me for a loop because I didn't look very closely. I didn't read ahead. I never read ahead on the pattern. I skim ahead a little bit to see, after learning the hard way, is this knit flat or in the round first? So I kind of check, how am I starting this? Is this, if it's a sock, is this toe up or toe down? And then I just go. So sometimes I get a little surprised about what's in the pattern. And so for this one, I just started knitting. I cast on the 4 stitches it called for, and I was working on them. And then I looked ahead. I was like, oh, when am I going to switch from yellow to white? I should know this. And then I looked ahead and it's like, okay, now switch to yellow. And I was like, what? I started with a little bit. I'm working in the round. I should have started with yellow. What's going on? And it turned out that if I had read the pattern more clearly, I would see that it is actually a ball that is then flattened. It is like, you sew it down and I ironed it. I think you block it and sew it and everything so it's flat. And I think that just gives it a greater integrity. Like, this isn't just going to curl up on me or something, and I can hang it like that. So I didn't realize it was knit as a ball and then flattened, so I had to restart. And yeah, you do start with the white and go around and start decreasing and then change to yellow. So there we go. This is my little egg. And then I did bacon. And it's so funny because it says the colors you need are like burgundy and pink and white. And part of me is like, no, brown. But I guess it's a little pinkier than straight on brown. But what I did is I took my bunch of pinkyish, burgundyish yarns down to my fridge and color matched my bacon. I was like, perfect. I have the exact colors. And just in time, I realized that if I knit it like that, I would have made bacon that was raw with my fried egg. So I saved myself some time and I found the right color. And so what this is we have here, these are scraps. This is Malabrigo Sock yarn in Botticelli red. This is Louet Gems fingering in champagne. And then this pink one is, it's not a scrap. It's Ancient Arts yarns from a mini of their new, I don't know how new it is now, but one of their newer yarn lines called Lascaux Fine. And this is colorway is called Petal. And so together they make a beautiful bacon. Here, there we go. And this, it's just a little strip of bacon. It probably took me 10 minutes, but it was actually a lot of fun to knit because it had short rows. And so that's where you start on the side and you go and you come back and you go and you come back. And that's how it gives it like the bumpy, wavy texture, is that you just knit up and come back and knit up and come back. So that's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it so much that I'm thinking almost of finding some more patterns that do that in them. I have a couple shawl patterns in my library on Ravelry that do that. And there's probably socks too. It's just so much fun to go back and forth and create this unique, somewhat unconventional shape that isn't just triangle, rectangle, whatever you get from straight lines. So the pattern is called Bacon and Egg Ornament by Nana Davenport. And her version of it has the bacon sewn on, like that. And I had to have 2 separate entries in the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup, so I made them separate, but I might yet sew them on. So I just made little things. And these are to hang on my Christmas tree. It's just so silly. That's why it makes me laugh. Because what does it have to do with Christmas? Why is it on the tree? Like, we don't even have bacon and eggs for breakfast Christmas morning. Like, it's not a thing at all. Actually, last year for Christmas breakfast, my My dad always puts smoked oysters in our stockings, and I I hate smoked oysters. I don't like the smell. I don't like the taste. But I think if he didn't put them in my stocking, I'd actually be a little bit hurt. Like, that's tradition. You have to put it in so that I can give it to someone else to eat. So last year, my husband for Christmas had beer and bacon. No, beer and oysters for breakfast. And he said it was really nice because, you know, last year at Christmas, nobody went anywhere. And it was just this nice little breakfast for him. I don't think I have breakfast on Christmas morning. I just have candy. That's okay. Yeah. So, I think I'm going to make more silly decorations for the tree. I've always wanted to make a Christmas pickle because that actually is a tradition. I think it's a German tradition, but oops. I don't know. We have a TARDIS on our Christmas tree. Our Christmas tree's not set up yet. I have been taught to wait until after Remembrance Day, which is November 11th in Canada, to start doing Christmas anything. But I set up the tree on December 1st. So it's not set up, but I want to get ready for it. So yeah, I think I will knit some mistletoe and a pickle. And I don't know what else. So if you have any ideas of something fun to put on the tree to knit, shoot me up. Let me know. And I will take a look at it. And the last thing that I have to show as an FO is this little potion bottle. This is not from a pattern, but it was inspired by a pattern. And the pattern that is inspired by is called Concoction by Hunter Hammerson. And I basically looked at her pattern and was like, oh, I think I can do that. And I did it. Yeah. So there. And it's just so cute. I made this because there was like this goofy challenge of, in the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup, there's a goofy challenge of make the prompt. Normally it's like make something inspired by the stars or inspired by this or that, whatever. And this one said, the challenge that was not the prompt said, make the prompt. Wouldn't that be so funny? And so then the prompt was, craft something that the memory potion shows you you're going to need in the coming holiday season. And I said, okay, craft the memory potion. Got it. Which, you know, arguably there's so much to remember that maybe that would be what I would need. But so I did make this, and I started from the bottom and increased up, and then just went straight and then decreased and switched yarn. And this was tricky because I knew what I wanted to put inside of it, which is an empty makeup sample container. Side note, there's not much left of 2021, but if you have a Sephora card, which is free, on your birthday, you get to have a free sample from Sephora. And they have a couple options, and one of their options in 2021 is this moisturizer, and I got it. I didn't know what else to get, but I do like skin stuff. And so I got it, and it is so nice. It just feels luxurious. It goes on so light, and it comes with a night mask that I haven't used it all up, and then a lip mask that I haven't used all up either. And yeah, it's so nice. If your birthday hasn't come yet and it's still in this year, you should get this because it just feels so good. Anyway, but I knew I wanted to put this in to make the shape, but it was tricky because I also knew I wanted the top of it to be like a bottle and get smaller. So I had to, by trial and error, kind of find the magic size that would still let me squeeze it in, but would still get smaller afterwards. And then I wanted a lid. So this is just a lid from my almost empty eye makeup remover. Yeah. Sorry if my hand has been in the way. There we go. So yeah, this does not have a pattern, but it is basically your super simple basic pouch pattern. And there's a dozen of those. There are even, oops, there are even actually like little pouch crochet versions of this that are for free on Ravelry, and I wanted to knit it. Oh! And I wanted to knit it instead of crochet, so this is why I made my own. But this here, the green, is Bijou Basin Ranch yarn, and it's 100% yak yarn. I was given in a swap yak yarn, and this is the last of it. So that's kind of nice. And then, oh no, that doesn't work. Okay, and then this white, or gray, is Knit Picks Stroll Tonal in Pearlescent, which is just some more leftovers that I had. So now I want to show my work in progress that I have. It's, again, the Impossibly Possible socks by Lisa K. Ross. And I've been working on these since September, but I have run into issues about the gradient yarn being too much for this pattern. So this is, I bought Estelle Yarn Sock Twins, so I had 2 of these, and I love all the colors of the gradient, and I want all of them to be in my socks, preferably in each sock. And so last time I had to show this giant knee sock with starting at purple at the toe and moving to pink. And my problem was that even if I finished the knee sock, it would not show off all of the gradient to the last color. So I did the unthinkable. I frogged it. I frogged it all the way back to right after the first repeat on the foot. And here's a picture of the yarn. I decided that what I would do for these socks is that I would knit a repeat on one sock, cut the color, the gradient yarn, and then knit that same repeat with the same color on the other sock, and then kind of go back and forth like that. Then I wanted to cast on the second toe using the same gray yarn without cutting the gray yarn. And so you can do that when it's in a skein, or when it's in a cake, because you can have one coming out the middle and one coming from around. And so I had this gray yarn with a little sock coming off, and then I was looking for the middle, and I was like, oh no! This middle piece comes out and then goes under all this yarn that I had just wound around the cake again from frogging it. And so I was like, is this string tucked under all this yarn that is wrapped around, this newly put on wrapped around yarn? Or is it that yarn? Did I make that first sock from the center or from the outside? I don't remember. I even went back to my pictures to try and see if I could tell, and they were not clear because I had artfully tucked it so it wouldn't look messy. So what I did, and this was, I think this was Halloween night, or I don't know. We were watching a movie. Oh no, it wasn't Halloween. We were watching The Last Unicorn, and I was set up with my yarn. I had this big bucket, and I took my sock and that was attached to the ball, and I started winding the yarn off the ball around the bucket to get this yarn off of the cake to see if I could find either the end, the middle end, like the middle of the cake end tucked underneath, or to find out that that was the yarn that wound up to the sock. But this sounds like it's really confusing. I hope it's not. Long story short, I took all of the yarn that I had just put on that cake, I unwound it, I wrapped it around a bucket and off of the cake so that I could find the other end of the yarn on the yarn cake. It was either going to be the center pull tucked underneath or the actual outside edge. And so I kept going and going and going and, kind of in self-doubt this whole time. Is it really there? Am I going to find it? Is this worth my time? And finally, or even like, did I get all of it yet? It's not looking so crinkly anymore from being frogged. And finally, the pail had quite a bit of yarn around it, and then there was the end. Okay. So then I had to take this end, pull it away a little bit, and then take this yarn. My cake is sitting here with a little end of yarn there, and then a long end wrapped around a bucket, and then a sock. So I had to then take that yarn around the bucket and make a new yarn ball and wind it with the yarn from around the bucket until all the yarn on the bucket was now on this little ball with a sock coming off. And so that is what I have right now. I did cast on the second sock with the other end of the gray. So I have this cake with 2 socks coming off, and I'll just show that to you. So this was the first toe. This is the one that has been frogged. That was a knee sock and was frogged down. And I frogged it down here to the first repeat. And then, where are you? Here's all the yarn that used to be in the knee sock. And then my cake of yarn, see, it's coming from the middle. Yeah, that bit comes from the middle. And then the other sock. So it's a bit of a tangle, but it is so worth it. So, oh, okay. Let's see what we got here, if we can get there. So I'll show these one at a time. So this is the second sock. I frogged this down to the purple and cut the purple. Then I cast on this sock and knit the first repeat in purple, and it turns out it takes almost exactly that entire segment of the yarn cake to do 2 repeats. And then I did the second one, started the gusset just a little bit, and I have cut the purple yarn again and begun knitting that repeat on this one. So we have our two socks started, and I'm actually a little concerned about when I get decently into the gusset on this next color stripe that's coming. You can kind of see here is where it's darker purple and lighter purple, and then over here you can start seeing it peek out, the part that's lighter purple with just a little bit of dark purple. There's not going to be enough of that to do the full repeat stripe with extra gusset stitches on both socks. And so I haven't decided, well, maybe I have. I think what I'm going to do is knit half the repeat on each one, or something, but I want to try and get them as even as I can, either get them as even as I can, or do all of it in one and as much as will come in the next one. Maybe the colors, the stripes will be a little off on the rest of the socks. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this really does look already more like how I was hoping this sock would look. I really wanted to capture the gradient as it went like a lot more quickly than it had been the first time I knit it. So yeah, we have this full color change after the full repeat, and I'm going to do that all the way through, and then I will get all of the gradient into these socks, and they will be really, really nice, I think. So having knit so much of the sock, I've basically knit a full pair's worth already. I don't have the pattern quite memorized, but it's so familiar that it goes by really fast. I'll sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to knit half a repeat, and you know, an hour later I've done that, or half an hour, however long it takes. And so these socks are flying off the needles now that what I'm doing is a little bit more certain and like secure. I don't know, I'm just, it's not so uncertain about what I'm doing. So I like that. yeah, and that's all I have to show this week, this video. Maybe next video I'll have finished socks. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't normally finish a pattern that quickly. I feel like I'm finishing it so fast, even though I've already been working on it for over 2 months. I normally get 60% of the way through and then leave it for 6 months because I just get more excited about the next thing. But something about frogging this down and starting again with a new plan feels like I'm doing the next new thing, even though it's the same old thing. So I'm really excited to finish those, and that'd be really cool if they were done by the next video. But the thing is, it's November and I have Christmas knitting now. And so I might get lots of knitting done that I can't show you until January. So I will definitely have a special holiday knitting episode at the end of December or beginning of January. So you might hear some kids in the background. That's okay. Oh! A question. Normally, the knitters talk about this right at the beginning. I am wearing something hand knit. Oh, yes. This sweater is called Bloomsbury, and it's by Svetlana Volkova. And I love this sweater. Let's see, the back has the lace pattern on it as well. So it's really nice. And it's knit out of Cascade 220 in cranberry, but I would watch out, if I were you, for making a sweater with this yarn. It kind of pills quite a bit, but a problem that I've had, and it might just be this colorway, is that it stains my armpits. Isn't that just ridiculous? It hasn't yet. And maybe wearing deodorant improves it or makes it worse. I don't know. But yeah, watch out making a sweater with this. I have definitely had weirdly red stained armpits, and like going into the bathroom, getting ready for bed, it's like, what happened to me? Oh, it was my sweater, right? So yeah, I really like it though. I wore this to Knit City in 2019, and everyone was wearing their Love Note sweater, and I had this, and yeah. So yeah, now that's it. That's all I have. Thank you so much for coming back and watching, and welcome to new viewers. It's nice to have anybody who comes and watches. Just a reminder, my videos are available to watch on Rumble, YouTube, and Odyssey. So wherever you like to watch videos, you can come and find me. And I am working to put subtitles on my videos. So new videos will be subtitled. And that's because I want my videos to be accessible to as many people as possible. I'm working on also subtitling my old videos, but it takes a while. So that will happen as it happens. And yeah, this one should be all subtitled and good to go. And I should have said that at the beginning and not at the end. So, oh well. Anyway, thanks for coming. Thank you all so much for your comments and likes and rumbles. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy every interaction that I have with you. So, yeah, thank you so much, and bye for now.